Hi everyone! So today, this video is going to be slightly different. So I'm going to be talking about Kai's online concert, which by the way, I think it is one of the best online concerts I've ever seen. And also I posted a full recap with a lot of details up on my blog. But in this video, I'm kind of going to give you guys a brief recap and my overall thoughts on it. Anyway, I really enjoyed his online concert. And in case you guys may or may not know this, Kai is one of my top favorite performers ever. I absolutely adore both of his solo albums. I love seeing him perform on stage. He's just a spectacular artist in general. And yeah, so let's talk about his online concert. So typically in an online concert or offline concert, a lot of the times groups and artists, they take breaks in between performances to talk to the crowd, to interact, to welcome the crowd, and things like that. However, with Kai's online concert, it wasn't like that whatsoever. It was just one continuous performance from start to finish, including the VCRs, the videos. It was just one continuous story and it felt more like a movie. That is why his online concert was called, I believe the full name of it was like Cinema KLoor Online. I do know the word cinema was there, and rightfully so, because this did feel like one entire movie. But in the end of his online concert, he did have a live Q&A, so he was able to interact with online audiences and things like that and receive questions. And he did talk a bit about the behind the scenes and the meanings behind certain performances, and of course the VCRs, the videos, because the videos were interesting. I was so intrigued with every single video. I was wondering what's gonna happen next, what's going on. And kind of like Baekhyun's online concert, how he had really great VCRs, it was telling a story. However, with Kai, it was slightly different. It was more trying to piece things together to figure out what is going on. But during his live Q&A session, he did explain that the whole concert sort of represents his journey to where he is today. And okay, so if you see me looking to the side, it's because I have my blog post open here. But basically, he explained in the VCRs that it represents all his stories from his dreams to being a singer and his dance journey as well. And it also shows the difficulties from those experiences and stuff. He also mentions that the VCRs also showed a different universe. So what would happen if he didn't take this route? So basically, he literally said what would happen if he hadn't received the gift from his dad. And if you guys know, his dad was the one that really helped him pursue dance and things like that. So yes, there was a lot of metaphors and a lot of meanings within the VCRs. And I know I keep talking about it, but it's because it is very intriguing. Again, if you guys go on my blog, I do talk more about what happens within those VCRs. I try my best to explain it. So the performances themselves were spectacular. Once again, you could always expect high quality performances from Kai for sure. And I also really liked the set list. And at one point he performed a song called Spoiler, which by the way, I believe that is an unreleased song, but it was so good. And I really hope he does release it soon because it is spectacular. And another performance that I absolutely adored is Come In. So if you guys know this or not, my favorite song from Kai's Peaches album, besides all the songs, because I love every single song, actually on both of his albums, but specifically in Peaches, my number one favorite song is Come In, and he performed that song and I was over the moon excited for that performance. And I loved everything about it. The performance was so good. He incorporated chairs. It was overall super fun. And throughout the performance, Kai was smiling and it just, it was one of my favorites. And I really hope they'll release like a performance video of it or something. And I just wish a lot more people could see that performance and just enjoy it because it is such a treat. All right, so in another part of his online concert, he performed Confession, and then he performed To Be Honest, and then he performed Domino. So Confession, if you guys have seen any of EXO's concerts and stuff, you know how hard that song hits. Like, that song is so good. His entire performance for Confession is legendary and it was great and I absolutely loved it. And then after, he performed his song To Be Honest from Peaches album, and that song is the complete opposite. That performance was like a 180. So in Confession, we see this very hard, serious Kai, but then in To Be Honest, we see bright, fun, bubbly Kai. And I love how in that performance, he transitioned between selfie cam and just the regular handheld camera and stuff. It just went back and forth in those perspectives, and it was so good. It was colorful, it was fun. Kai was smiling, the dancers as well, and you could tell they were having so much fun with that stage. Also, at one point, he did post on his Instagram stories, I believe, some of those clips of him performing, and I thought that was really sweet, especially for those that weren't able to watch his online concert live. Like, they could just go to his Instagram account and still see it, a little bit of it, and I thought that was so sweet. So after the bright, fun, bubbly To Be Honest, he performed Domino, and to me, Domino feels like a cousin song to Confession. It was, bam, we're back to like this powerhouse, serious, dramatic Kai, and I loved it. So again, you really do see the various range with Kai and his performances, and that's something that I absolutely love. So another thing that I want to say is the camera work in this concert was the best camera work I've ever seen. Everything felt like one take, and the editing, I don't know how they did it, but it felt so immersive as well. It felt like I was there with them, like I was dancing along with them. They used the term teleportation literally throughout this entire online concert. So Kai is performing in one location, and then the next second the camera moves and he's dancing in another location, move again, another location, and then at one point we just see in split seconds him performing in different locations, and then there's stop motion as well. It is so cool. And then there was another part that the camera kind of like went down and then over, and it was another location. Long story said short, the camera work and editing deserves a freaking Oscar. It was so good. And at one point it kind of also felt like a simulator ride, because it was just the camera was moving and it was so good. So at one point when he performed Hello Stranger, he performed with the camera. So someone was behind the camera. They were doing like the hand arm movements. I don't know what the actual term is called, but if you guys have seen Irene and Sulgi's video for Naughty, you know how that they kind of, one of them dances behind the camera and stuff, and you see their hands and stuff, so it looks like you're kind of dancing with them, that type of perspective. They had that here for Hello Stranger, and it was so good. I loved it. So at one point during the VCRs, again, check out my blog because I put a lot more detail there. But anyway, we kind of see EXO Kai, so Obsession Kai with like, and it was so red and everything. So I was 99% sure when I saw that, I was like, we're gonna get an Obsession performance. But that didn't happen. Instead, he performed I See You. So to me, and then after he performed Jekyll. So to me, when he performed those two, it was like we saw EXO version of Kai, and it was so cool because it's like, I like to call it like the villainous side of Kai. He was so immersed in it. It was so good. And then in Jekyll, Kai and the dancers, they performed with these red ribbons. It was spectacular. And I'm pretty sure they needed to be on time and so in sync to make sure that those ribbons worked and stuff. And I don't know how they did it. The choreographers and the dancers deserve a lot of props and credit because this was phenomenal. And of course, Kai as well. And yes, of course, Kai performed and it was wonderful. Okay, but I think out of all of the performances, the most aesthetically pleasing, at least to me, was definitely Peaches, because everything was pink and soft. And even in the screens, it showed like pink flowers and then like a pink sunset, and it was so beautiful. So in one of the sets, it was like a stage, and then I believe they had like 360 screens where they were able to like project different things. So in one of the performances, they projected fireworks. I believe it was in Ride or Die. And then in another performance, they projected the city and stuff, and it was so cool. But for Peaches, they definitely added those like soft pink pastel colors, and I just loved it so much. It was so beautiful. So a lot of these performances kind of lead into the VCRs, and then the VCRs lead into the next performance, and I kind of want to talk a lot more about it, but it would literally take me like an hour to explain these VCRs because there's a lot of metaphors behind it and a lot of things happen. But I'm pretty sure if you guys search up on Twitter and stuff, I'm sure a lot of people have already posted theories and maybe clips and more pictures of the VCRs there. I'm just going back and forth. Like, I'm not talking about the songs in order, and I probably should. My bad. But anyway, when Kai performed Vanilla, it was spectacular because it was in a different set, and it looked like a swanky bar, and he performed with female dancers, and it was so classy. Everything about it. And I also love Vanilla. It was so good. And then right after Vanilla, he performed Amnesia, which was amazing. And then after Amnesia, he performed Hello Stranger. So I liked how the songs were set up. I think the set list was perfect in my opinion. So just to give you guys a general idea on the set list, so he had the opening, which the opening of the online concert, he's like, it looks like a FaceTime call with Kai. Phone kind of falls. It kind of falls in this hallway, and then Kai sort of like appears and disappears in the hallway, and then we see Kai in a fancy home office. Well, I don't know if it was a home office, but in a fancy office, and Kai's like kind of floating there, and yeah. And then we go back to the hallway, and then that's when the song Nothing on Me begins, and that is the first song of the night. Anyway, so the first song that he did perform was Nothing on Me, and that was in the hallway, but then he also transitioned to different sets, and then after it was Reason, and then after it was Spoiler, which again, I really hope he releases that song soon. And then the first VCR happened, and then Come In, and then it was Blue, and then Ride or Die, which I loved, so good. And then VCR number 2, and then Confession, and then To Be Honest, Domino, VCR number 3, Vanilla, Amnesia, Hello Stranger, VCR number 4, I See You, Jekyll, VCR number 5, Peaches, and VCR number 6, and then the post-concert Q&A. So overall, every single performance, again, it was spectacular, top-notch. I really, really, really enjoyed it. So even though it wasn't a traditional concert where he's performing and then he gets feedback from either a virtual or online audience, but the purpose of this was to basically showcase his story and the various things that he's dealt with in a metaphorical sense, but also in a literal sense. Again, this is the type of concert that you have to see in order to fully understand what happens, because again, the VCRs are so intricate and it's so cool. But I really like all the details that they put in this online concert. Kai is a phenomenal performer, and I love the quality of this entire online concert. So it was definitely worth it in my opinion. And yeah, so once again, check out my blog for a lot more detail on every single song and VCR. And yeah, so thank you guys for listening to my little talk on Kai's online concert, because I just genuinely really, really, really enjoyed it, and I hope one day I can see EXO live, because I really want to see them live. Anyway, but yeah, like I said, this was definitely one of the best online concerts that I've seen, and it was out of this world amazing, top quality. The camera work, the choreography, the outfits, the sets, the whole storyline, the editing, everything was incredible. So good job, Kai. Good job to his entire team and everyone that helped make this online concert happen, because it was such a treat, and I was just so happy by the end of it. All right, so that basically wraps it up for this video. So remember to check out my blog. Highly recommend it. I put a lot of thought into it, and I worked really hard on it so I could share with you guys as much detail about it as I possibly could. And yeah, so with all that being said, if you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. You guys could feel free to subscribe. I do post videos on a weekly basis, and I also have a blog, which besides online concert recaps, I do talk about K-pop comebacks and things like that. So I will link my blog, like I mentioned, on the description box below so you guys can check it out. So thank you so very much for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.